joining us for Foodie Friday at the Box Springs Library and Learning Center. Today we are making spinach and gnocchi soup. Now that you're here, let's get started. I'm starting off by shredding 2 carrots, cutting 2 ribs of celery, and dicing half of an onion. The process of cutting and measuring out your ingredients can also be known as the French term mise en place. A mise en place just means putting in place or gathering. So for our mise en place list, we have 2 shredded carrots, 2 ribs of celery, half a diced onion, seasoning of your choice, 2 cups of spinach, about a pound of gnocchi pasta, 4 tablespoons of equal parts flour and butter, a container of chicken broth. I use whole milk, but you can also use heavy whipping cream or half and half, and finally Parmesan to top it off. You'll start off with a pot of water, and once it starts to boil, you'll add your gnocchi pasta. You'll notice that they start to rise, and that's how you know they're ready. You'll then strain them and put them to the side. To make this soup, we're starting off with a roux base. A roux is basically cooking fat and flour together before adding in the liquid you want to thicken. There are 5 French mother sauces known as béchamel, velouté, espagnole, sauce tomate, and hollandaise. Today we are making a béchamel roux, which is equal parts flour and butter with milk incorporated into it. This roux is very common, and you might recognize it if you ever made macaroni and cheese or chicken pot pie. So now that our onions are translucent, we're ready for our flour. I'm slowly incorporating it little by little, and eventually you'll see it start to thicken and turn to almost a Play-Doh consistency. With the béchamel roux also comes certain stages of your roux. This stage would be known as a blonde stage because we're not taking it too far, we're just allowing it to incorporate. Once your roux kind of looks like grits or mashed potatoes, that's when you'll want to start adding your chicken broth and slowly incorporating it. The key word being slowly, because you don't want to mix it in too fast. You'll notice that I sped up this footage, and that's because I really want to emphasize that this process really takes time. Love is patient, therefore, the patience that you put into your dish is gonna show oh my goodness. I know that was cheesy, but that's just to say, the taste of a dish reflects the patience you put into it. At this stage of your roux, you'd want to add your seasoning, but I actually forgot that, so I ended up having to do it later. However, I am putting my celery and carrots. Some of my footage accidentally got deleted, but I just continued to slowly incorporate that broth into my roux. This is the point where I remembered to put my seasoning in. I really don't recommend doing it at this stage because you really want to get it before you add the broth so you can allow those seasonings to kind of aeromate into the dish. Anyway, with that being said, here I am trying to whisk it the best I can. Like I said, this isn't really the best method. I mean, it works, but it's not the best. Now I'm just going to add in our already cooked gnocchi pasta. You'll notice that it's kind of clumped together. That's totally fine. That's just because we took it out of the water. You're just going to add it in there and then kind of break it apart inside of the soup. Once your pot of soup is to a simmer and the celery is cooked all the way through, this is a stage where I'd put the heat down low and start to add in your spinach. I like to add the spinach last because the spinach cooks really fast. And I personally just don't like cooked spinach. Now that you have all of your add-ins, you can start to add in your milk, or heavy whipping cream, or half and half, whatever you prefer. I don't really use measurements very often when I make soup because soup is very forgiving. I would say I probably added about maybe 1/4 to half of a cup of milk here, but like I said, just do kind of what your heart desires. Now that our soup is ready to be served, I just want to say thank you for tuning in with Foodie Fridays with the Box Springs Library and Learning Center, and I hope you enjoyed. Bon appetit!